Hey guys, Jay here, and this is finally my Sith cosplay from Star Wars. It's my OC, my original Sith Lord. My lightsaber is over that way, but yeah, I don't know how well you can hear me. I might have to redo this, I'm not sure. Anyway, today I'm gonna show you how I made some of the accessories on this cosplay. So I've already showed you the unboxing of everything that I was mainly unboxing, the jacket, the mask, and a hood that I ended up returning because the hood doesn't fit over the mask, but the hood on the jacket does. And then in another previous video, I also showed you how to make this belt, just without all these accessories on it. But in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this neck piece here. I don't know what this is called. I just call it a high collar. I don't know. It's not a scarf. It's a full tube that doesn't wrap. So it's not a scarf. But how to make this, how to do these armbands, and how to do, or what I did for these pouches. And I'll also let you know at the end of the video how I did that, how this hood isn't falling down, as well as you may have noticed it had a zipper on it before and now it doesn't. It has bias tape. I'll tell you what I did at the very end there too. Alright, to start, I have this curtain here. You can see it has the curtain rings that go into the, the rod goes through that to make curtains. First, no, I did not buy a curtain specifically for this. We just have this. It's a kind of medium weight fabric, so that's what I want. It'll stay up better than you can see already. It's kind of standing on its own here. So I'm going to layer it over itself and work on that. But I have to fold this over here and then sew down there so I can cut this piece off. So I'm going to sew all the way down here and then cut off the excess basically. So I'm going to sew this up. Alright, so now that that's done, I just need to cut off the excess here. So this is the main fabric. So I'm going to fold this about how much I want it to be folded. So I'm going to start with in half, so folding it in half, and this part where I'm folding it, where this length here is the opposite side of the other. So this line here on this opposite end is where I just cut and folded over. So that'll give you an idea of which direction this is going. And then this is really hard. This stuff's kind of slippery. Now it looks like it's still too big. So in half again. And let's pin this up, or we'll clip it up so that it doesn't come apart. And then I can try that on over the costume and see how well that fits. And it's gonna suck going through all of this. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. Might have to do something else if that doesn't work. All right, so there's that. I'm gonna go do this off camera and check it out and see what it's like. And actually I should probably fold it over on itself like this. It's about how big I'm gonna need it to be. And then I can pin this down or clip this down. But I'm not gonna use the same clips. I'm gonna use stronger ones. So one sec. So I've got these. They're bigger and stronger. So I'm gonna use them to clamp it down like this. And actually, bam. I get one in the middle there. That way it doesn't come apart when I try it on. And actually I can try it on right now. And it seems like it might be good actually. Here, let me, like this. So if you guys, oh, that actually, yeah. Kind of works like that actually. It's sinking in on itself, so I think it's too thick, but I want it to kind of fold on itself a little bit. Like this, where it's folding, but it is a little heavy in the back. You see how it's standing like this? That's what I wanted. It's not horrible. I might, since I know how far this needs to go here, I might, yeah, I'm gonna cut this down. So I took off the bigger ones here, and I know how far it overlaps. So I know that this little overlap here will be good, so I can cut this down. Alrighty, and then I'm going to undo that. Okay, yeah, I'll only overlap it a very, very small amount. Now that there's only one thing on the side and it's not overlapped too bad, let's see the difference. Yeah, it's still pulling really bad on the back. I'm thinking it's just too large. in general. So let's work around that. Let's make this smaller. Oh, making it smaller might have been the call. That might have been it. Yeah, because it stays up a lot better now. So this is basically what I wanted, this cool collar thing. So I'm gonna, with this like this, I'm gonna try it with the thing and see what happens. All right, I've got most of the costume on now, so I can put it on over this. Okay, that kind of works. I think maybe I did make it too small now. Let me widen it back out a little bit, make it a little bit bigger again. Okay, I can see this working. I can kind of see it in my viewfinder here. So I'm looking in the screen, not at the lens, because I want to see what this looks like. But that's basically what I'm looking for. And then this one will go up, so it's double layers like that, with the hood up. And I have a mask that goes over it. So I wasn't sure how well this would look. That's why I've been just testing this out. But I wanted to have like this kind of thing going on, where you can like, you know, that kind of pose with a lightsaber and holding this up. I thought that was kind of a cool pose, but it looks like it may or may not work depending on how well this works. So I've done some stuff off camera real quick. This is now like half of the thickness. So when I folded it up, when I kept folding it in half, I had it folded in half the regular way, then laid it out long on the table, so that when, like, as this was undone, folded the 2 layers in half, so it was 4 layers, and then cut along one of those on the fold, so that I had the one that was folded over on itself. So it was 2 layers thick, and then I folded that over again and got 4 layers. So it's a little hard to explain, but it's just folded over on itself, and it's 4 layers, and it's... How thick is this? It is 8 inches tall. And then it's however long wide that I need it. I'm keeping these on here so that I know where it's going to be sewn up. That way it stays right here, and I'm going to sew up here, as well as... You know what? I don't even think I need to sew. Yeah, I do need to sew along on this edge. I might not sew this, and I'll leave this as the top, so it'll be like this. So... yeah, that might be what I do, but I have to sew this edge down so that this all stays, and then that'll be the bottom, and then it'll kind of fold in on itself, you know, like you can see in the video, in the other parts of the video. But I'll post a picture up here of a selfie I took with it, just like this. Well, I mean, obviously with those pins right here that I just took out, or whatever I just took out of here. That is good. I'll go with that. I'm just going to sew this up and then move on to the next thing. So I have a couple things here that I've done off camera. These 2 are bags here. I went ahead and bought these. I'll just run over these real fast because there's nothing to show you other than what I'm about to do to them. And even then, I don't know exactly yet. So I know that for this one, so this is a hefty suede bag, and this is going to hold my phone and my wallet in it. This originally had this medallion right here. You can actually, you probably can't see it, but there's a very obvious thing where this was. I'm gonna see if I can do something about that and cover it up somehow. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but it's very noticeable, and it'll be noticeable in pictures. And then the top here has 2 holes in it because there was a string, which this one does the same thing, just backwards. It's a string that wraps around the medallion to open up. So this one wrapped around this way rather than the way the other one does. I'm going to use Velcro. I'm going to put Velcro on the inside of the flap and the outside of here so that I can keep it closed. Easy. And then I guess I'll just figure out something for that. I don't know yet. And then for this one, as you saw, it does the same thing where the string goes around the medallion to keep it in place. That's going to be a pain in the butt. So I'm thinking about removing this using some like bolt cutters or something to get this off of here, because it's just like a thing that's been hammered together, just like a button on your pants would be, where you can't just undo it. So I'm gonna see what I can do there and get this off. And I want to have it closed with magnets if I can help it. If I can't, then I'll figure out something else. And if anything, if I need to, I might be able to just buy a different one of these things and just replace it with something else. That'd be nice. I don't know. Anyway, but this also very difficult to get onto the belt, but once it's on there, it's on there. I don't have to worry about it. This one, I'm going to make these smaller so they fit better, because I don't want it to be hanging down like this with all this left over here. I want it to be kind of where this part, the top, is up against where the belt is, so it looks clean. So I'm going to do that. And that's just sewing. That's easy. But yeah, that's for these. And then this is an armband. So which direction? This way. No, this way. I had to figure out which direction. So this way. It's not great, but it works. I can still tighten it here, it looks like. I don't want it to be too tight because I want movement. But I also have some buckles and straps. And funny enough, these came off of the costume itself. The actual, the coat that I'm using, the thing that's in my unboxing for, you know, I'm pretty sure that was the video before this one. It tightens and then goes back through. And then I would probably cut this off to make it shorter. But, so it'd be like that. And I was debating trying to do a bigger one on top. But I don't want it to have the silver things here. That's backwards. But yeah, those things where it buckles together, I don't want those on there. So actually what I'm gonna do is right now cut this off right at that, and then this way I can figure out where this will go, because I haven't gotten this far yet, and I've only done this one, so I haven't even worked on the other one yet. You know what, this has to go around the jacket, so I'm gonna put that on and then do this. All right, so here's the sleeve. Here, let's turn this way. All right, let's put this back on. So I take the sleeve, hold it in my hand. I'm also debating cutting this down and sewing it to this. So that's a thing I could do. Might work better. I kind of want the sleeves to sag a little, be a little big like this. I like that look with these armbands. So I'm gonna keep it like that, obviously. There we go. So like that. So it's like an armband that goes over my hand, like I was talking about. I mentioned this in the video for unboxing this thing, where I liked how Kylo Ren's did this on his hand, where they kind of half covered. I really liked that, so I wanted to mimic that. But I didn't want to make them basically like his sleeves, which are just a whole bunch of rings together. And I didn't want to do that. And this will even differentiate it more with these straps, because he doesn't have straps on his. Good enough. That'll just be on there for now. And then we can do this and figure out where it's best on the armband. And now the pleather that I used for the armband itself is a two-way stretch, which means it stretches in only like if you're holding it up in one direction, like if this, let's pretend this is a square of the fabric, it would stretch this way, not that way. So I made it so that the left and right stretch was like that, so that it was able to stretch around my arm. So there's that. Okay, making these go not all the way looks like the call. So I'll do it right there, and I'll just bam, and then very carefully mark that with silver. And then I can go in and I'm also going to tack this down to the armband so that it doesn't slide. Because it's going to, let's just face it. This one doesn't need to be, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just to be, you know, consistent. Well, there we go for the second one. And then I can move it where I want right now. So it'd look like that. But I mean, they're going to be inside the thing so you can see the full buckle, just like this one. So it'd match that. I'm really debating making this its own thing too. But I don't think I have enough stuff for that. Or do I? I don't. That's not long enough. It might be just barely long enough, actually. I'll work on that off camera, but there's a little tiny bit of this left from this one. So, we'll see what happens. Anyway. And actually, if I do this slightly tight... No, that might be too tight. Never mind. But I know how tight this one needs to be now. So... if you notice, there's a whole lot compared to this one hanging off of it. So I'll be able to cut off some of this. So yeah, I'm liking the way this looks, and I'm gonna just do this. So like I said, I'm just gonna sew these to this, and I'll show you how I made this. So to make the basic pattern of the armband, I used an old pattern making technique, which is putting stuff around, tape around yourself. I was going to use saran wrap, but then I realized this is on my arm. This is not a thing you want to cut off with something super tight. So this is literally an old shirt that I don't wear anymore. And I keep those kind of things for that. Yeah, so this goes like this on me. So that's how I know what's what. If you want to, you can write top right there, or whatever else you want. That way I know this is the front, and actually top and right. So I know that if it looks like this and matches this, it's the top, which is the top side like that, and for the right arm. So I just need to make 2 of these, but instead of tracing this, I have the pattern that I made from the pattern. You know, I have the piece made already, so I might as well just trace the piece I already have since I'm using it. And actually, let me write left on here so I know this is for the left arm. I'll trace this out. Alrighty. And if you really want to, when you do this, you can just cut it in half. I just flattened it out and did it when I made this one, so it's up to you. So there's that, and then I'm going to make a line. If you notice, this seam, it's probably hard to tell, but this seam is only like a 1/4 inch. Is that a 1/4 inch? Yes, it is. It's about a 1/4 inch from the edge. That's where the seam goes. So I'm just gonna mark on here, just so I have something to follow. And we're not going to sew across the top and bottom. We don't want to close those edges up. And then all we have to do, put them together like a so. And then I'm gonna pin these down. Probably normally shouldn't pin this vinyl because it leaves holes. But this vinyl is actually strange in that it doesn't seem to leave holes. I don't know, but either way, I would rather just do this to make it easy. That way I'm only cutting out one piece. And if you notice, my pins are far away from my edge because I don't want to hit that pin. Those are going to stay in there the whole time. All right, and then the only thing I'm going to cut is the top and bottom because we're going to need it that way. And if you noticed, you probably didn't notice, but I also cut inside the black line that I made because that would be where they line up correctly. All right, so that way, so I'll just do it this way. So now they're opposites, and I'll still put left, but this time I'll put right on here. Now I have which one's which. And you just flip that out. To put it together, obviously I'm gonna sew it. So we got the sewing machine, and we're just gonna sew it just like I would anything else. Just like that. I'm gonna do that again on the other side, flip it over, well, flip it inside out, and they're done. Oh, yeah, I guess cut them out first before you turn them inside out. But yeah, this is it. Bam! Now the right one's done. There we go. Ooh, the right one is a little bit tighter, so I might tighten the left one just to make it match. All right, I figured I should come in the end here just real quick, get everything over with that I did off camera. This, all I need to do is sew up the end here. That's it, and then flip it inside out. Done. Don't need to worry about that. I'll just do that off camera whenever I want. So the other thing is we have these 2 bags, and yes, I am talking faster because I'm trying to get this done and get it out and make this not too long. So I'll talk about this bag first because it's the most work. This one had the most thinking, but the least amount of actual work. So you can tell that these are the same bags, but that I changed them a little bit. So this one, I added a strap, which is one of these. And this is just a strap that came with the boot covers for my Genesis cosplay from Final Fantasy VII. And I just used it for this. I figured I'd use it somehow, and I did. This was a pain in the butt because nothing would work correctly. This suede doesn't like to work in the machine. It doesn't, I think it's suede anyway, but it's kind of sticky and doesn't move very well, and it just stays in place and when the needle goes down, and it never gets pushed by the machine. So I couldn't use it in the machine to do all this, so I had to do it by hand. I had to take apart the sides here, which it's actually sewn all the way around for some reason. This whole front piece here is its own separate section that they sewed on. Instead of, usually you would make a long piece and then fold it over and then sew the sides up. They didn't think that was a good idea, apparently. So there's an extra seam that I had to worry about. So I had to make sure it didn't all come undone when I was sewing it. But then I had it all, laid out. I sewed it all down by hand on both sides, which was annoying as hell. And I also didn't do that good because it's going along the stitch that's already there, so it's hard to see. But also, it doesn't have too much function. It's not really going to get yanked too much. This action doesn't actually pull it as much as you think it does, so it's not going to rip it off or anything. So it's not a big deal. So for this closure, this snap, I didn't actually want the snap on there. That's something I don't have a choice with. So in here, actually, I have some right here. There's a magnet in there. And there was one of those magnets in the top of here as well, in the tip. And it was magnetized closed. It worked just fine. Put my wallet and my phone in it because I can't use my wallet or my phone with this one. It's way smaller than I was thinking it was going to be when I bought it. But so my wallet and my phone fit in here, and it's too heavy. Even if I have just my wallet or just my phone, it was still too heavy for the magnet. So I was like, all right, what am I going to do now? And decided to just go this route and do the snap. So, and to also stop the back of the snap from like scratching up things like my phone, it's not even back here. It's inside, in between the two layers. So it's on top of this, but under this, so it won't scratch anything. And that made it easier to smash it down. It's less thickness to go through. And then obviously I just put another one here, called it good. And also, I took the loops off of here. There's holes now, but it's whatever. But I took the loops off and made this part the loop. So I just sewed here, stopped, sewed here, stopped, and like that. And so now there's a loop there. So that fits on the belt rather than like this, rather than, it just looks better. So on to the other one. This one is the one that took the most thinking, but to get it to work, but the least amount of actual work. You can see that it also has the snap. I did that so that they kind of matched. I didn't want to do a snap, but I didn't have a choice here. So that, both of them I didn't have a choice. This, if you remember, it had that medallion there with the string that went around it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to undo that and stuff every single time I want to get into this. This is going to have my business cards, which is going to be very impossible to get to if I have to keep doing that. And I don't want to keep it open because that just looks bad. So I had to compromise. I was originally going to make another snap here, but it turns out this collapses in on itself way too easily. So a snap literally just pushes it in, and you can't snap it shut without, doing the whole thing. So that was starting to be really bad. So instead, it's a magnet. So it's what this one was supposed to be. The thing is, this one has one of the magnets that's in here. It's a smaller magnet. However, I have two types of magnets, or two size magnets. There's a larger one that's much stronger. I wanted to use both of those, but it was too strong with both of them. So I have the smaller magnet that has a slightly weaker pull, and a larger magnet in the tip here, which actually freely moves around, so that kind of sucks. But it stays. The two smaller magnets literally would not stay. It would not stay shut like this. So you can see it's super easy to open and close. Nice. Get in there, grab a card, close it up, and hand it off. Perfect, right? So I was also thinking, I kind of want to have something here, but I don't know what, because this magnet keeps moving, and I hate having to keep recentering this, and I'm not going to be able to do that when it's on me. So if I can figure it out, if I can figure out something to glue to this or something, super glue to it or something, then I'm going to center this the best I can, sew around it to isolate it in one spot so it stays there forever, and then glue a thing to it. Because if I just sew the thing up, you'll see a stitch, and that'll look ugly, and I don't want that. And I'm not going to be able to stitch like a perfect circle or something around that, especially around a magnet. That's going to be pulling at my needle and everything. It's going to be annoying. So yeah, it's just easier if I can get something to stick on there, but I can't think of anything, and I can't find anything I want to use. So I'm going to look around and see what I can find to glue on there and work around that. Yeah, so that's that. And then this here is because the medallion was there, so there's a big hole there now. And this makes it so that it stays on there, so it doesn't flop around everywhere, and it stays connected. And then there's one on the back here that's on the belt loop thingy. And that's just to make it so it looks like it's coming from behind, so that there's not like this edge here anywhere. I had to, put this down somewhere, and this was the best place to do it where it wouldn't be seen. It was right on the back where it's going to be up against my body. So that's it for these 3 pieces. There's also one other piece that I want to show you, and that is the sleeve arm thingy. So this is obviously now connected to the sleeve. That was a pain in the butt, and I did it off camera because there was a lot of stuff I had to do. I also could not put this on the machine because there was just no way this was gonna fit over the machine. And yeah, so that sucks. So I had to hand sew this entire thing. It was just difficult. I don't recommend it at all, but it worked out, and I like the way it looks. I like the tight forearm with the slightly baggy thing. This also isn't on me all the way, the jacket. I just have it on this one arm to show you this. But yeah, so I kind of like that look. For some reason, it's giving me Devil May Cry. Like it gives me that kind of vibe. I don't know why. But it's cool, and I really like it. But you may notice also, these are not centered. They are, but they're also not. They are because the line here, the seam line, I guess, they're both of the buckles are exactly the same distance away, but because it's different areas on the arm, it cinches it different and kind of twists everything a little different, so it kind of looks uneven. And I liked that look. I didn't want it to look too even with each other. I liked this offset thing, so I did the same thing on the other side. So I just liked the way it looked, so I was like, cool, whatever. And then I only sewed them down here, that's it. So where the buckle is, then it goes here, sewn down, then it goes all the way around, then through the buckle on both sides. Or, well, both of them on both sides. But yeah, so that's that. And I was debating cutting this open to have a more open hand, but I don't think I care. It's not a big deal. This kind of works. It's fine. But yeah, so this is the last thing, and I'm done with everything. Finally. Alright, so that was everything for the costume so far. And sorry if I sound out of breath here. It's really hard to talk with this mask on and try to get the microphone to hear me. I don't know how hard that's going to be at the convention, but it is getting hot up here. So, and I had to put all this on, get everything ready. It's a pain. Yeah, so I think I'm all done except for one thing that I need to clarify. I have to get another pouch on this side. So this pouch was going to be for either phone or wallet. Well, none of them fit. I can get like my money and my card in there, but I cannot get my actual full wallet in there, which I would want my full wallet, and I can't get my phone in there, obviously it's too small. So phone goes in this one, but both will not fit in this one. So I have to get another one. It's whatever. I'll figure something out. But I did order one, so we'll see what happens with that. It's not a big deal. You don't have to see any of that. Just know that you're gonna have to get stuff that holds all your stuff. Anyway, on to the things that I didn't talk about in the video. So to start, I'm just going to talk about the black around here. And all that is I just sewed bias tape on. That's it. So down at the bottom here, I made it so it's above the zipper. So you can see the zippers here. So it's above the zipper there. So it's just sitting on top of the fabric. And then it transitions down here to have a cut in the bottom layer so that it folds around and can travel all the way down, being folded over the thing itself. So that's what I did with that, and I just have it all the way around. I did the hood first and separated the sections out right here, so I knew exactly where to zip up to, and I knew, you know, all this stuff, which is all covered by this when it's on correctly. Or it should be covered enough that it's not going to be a big deal. And then to stay on the helmet like this, I used magnets. So before I sewed the black bias tape on, I put magnets inside a piece of pleather, folded it over, did sewed it up, you know, one magnet, and then I did one on each side here, and then I used 5-minute epoxy to put magnets inside where they sit. So they sit right here at the base of the back of the horn on each side. So that's what makes this stay on. So yeah, that's the entire thing. I really hope I can get this stuff to stay while I'm at the convention. Anyway, but that's going to be it for this. So if you like it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later.